Hi, how are you?
Good. Thank you so much for joining us, for taking the time.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is quite a feature film debut, so congratulations on that.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's my first film and just excited to get it out there this weekend.
How does it feel that it's all done and this weekend is the big premiere?
It feels very surreal because you make the movie and that is so energizing. You're surrounded by hundreds of people, and then you go into these rooms and the editing, it's just me and the editor, it's me and the musician, and it becomes a very small thing. And then now to just get it out there in such a big way it feels very special, very full circle.
That's great. Um, After watching this film, it seems like an incredibly challenging film for a debut. So what excited you about this that made you want to direct it?
So I read Alan Trey's script. Alan Trey's is an incredible writer from Burying the X, We Summon the Darkness, and he's a great horror comedy writer. It was really funny. Was the first thing that stood out to me actually. The Rosario's kind of no nonsense, confidence, and the way she talks to herself. The neighbors and all these little side characters, David Dismalchian, Paul Ben Victor, they were all like all their characters were just really compelling. Beyond that, it just had everything I wanted to do in my first movie. It had the body horror, which I've been doing that in all my short films since I was a kid, flooding my parents' bathtub with fake blood, and I just always loved the kind of handcrafted, tangible type of horror, subgenre of horror. So it was all that, and on top of all that, it had a lot of heart to it too. It had these themes of sacrifice and guilt and grief. Um, and Alan Treza, the writer, was Colombian American, so he understood this experience we'd both kind of lived through of coming to a country and trying to kind of make our lives out here. So all of that was in this beautiful script.
It definitely it was just if I could say that it was a joy to watch. It sounds weird saying that with a film like this, but it really was. So, um, one thing I really liked about it is that for a lot of it, it's entirely in like one location with one character. So, how did that kind of influence your approach to filming?
So it's a good chunk of it is in grandma's apartment, but we opened the film on this other world, Wall Street and Rosario's apartment, and it's glamour and it's luxury, but she's rejected her roots. It's blue and it's gray and it's kind of dystopian in a way. And we contrast that with grandma's room that is textured and warm, but also quite creepy, especially the further you go in. It's like a Russian doll. It kind of reveals itself, and it's organic and it's textured and it gets grimier and grimier. So the approach in terms of that one location was to make it both as claustrophobic as possible, but also as kind of dynamic and both bombastic as we could. So with the DP, we had different looks where she would close the curtains and the whole room would be washed in like this blood red, or the train would whiz by and these flashing lights would come in, and it always felt dynamic. And also Rosario's journey is one of discovery. She's discovering things in the closet, secret rooms, and she's discovering, dead animals here and sacrificial ritual books there. So it felt like we're with her and we're discovering this one space, yes, but it's a space full of detail and life and texture.
And a lot of like the excitement and stuff kind of is a testament to the performance. So, when you were casting Rosario, what exactly were you looking for?
No, it's a good point because you can make this beautiful set, but it's not until you fill it with a person, a face, that it comes to life. And Emerald, I'd seen some of her rom-coms. I'd seen With Love, her series on Amazon. Um, so we called her up, and I saw this confidence she had, this humor, this boldness, this kind of no nonsense that was Rosario, and the glamour too, but also this connection with her roots that was really beautiful. She's Mexican American. So I saw all that in her. Called her up. She said she'd never seen a horror movie before. Basically, she was squeamish. She wasn't sure, but she just killed it. She was Rosario, and she was game to do everything to get chased by dogs and covered in worms and vomit and blood. And she did an incredible job and brought a lot of heart and life to Rosario.
I find it really hard to believe that she hadn't seen a horror film before.
Maybe she'd seen them, but it wasn't something. She was just very like, she would watch them and be terrified. So when we put her in this room and everything's tangible and real, that terror was real, especially when it comes to this religion of Palo. It's real and it's powerful, and seeing her just discover this world was really something beautiful.
I'm glad you brought up the religion because that goes into my next question. Can you talk a little bit about what went into introducing this religion? Because I hadn't heard of it before, and like why it was like such an important part to the story.
Yeah, so the palo is what we're talking about, and it started in Cuba, but it was really a way for these folks to stay in touch with their African roots, but also blending with the indigenous roots of the Caribbean, with Catholicism and Christianity of the Spaniards. So it was this amazing blend of all these cultures, and it's a way to really what it makes Palo so special is that it opens these portals to our ancestors, to our roots. It is also the idea of sacrifice is kind of baked into this religion. You have to give something to get something: blood sacrifice, animal sacrifice, human sacrifice. Everything has a cost. So we really deep dived into this world. I knew of religions similar to it, but I wasn't as aware of Palo. I grew up with aunts who were mediums, with a grandmother who practiced brujeria, but Palo was something new to me. We went to the Botanicas in New York where you could buy these ritualistic elements. We talked to paleros in Colombia who even offered to give us real Nganga cauldrons with real human bones. I don't know where they would get them, but we ended up not going with that. But it was important to us to depict these rituals in a way that felt authentic, and also to have an arc, a journey of Rosario where she discovers the light and the beauty, and why her grandma was a practitioner was to protect was Rosario and to connect with her roots and to open this conversation with her ancestors. All of that is kind of revealed in this religion. It has a lot of textures and detail.
It was just really cool getting to see like not only a new film, but also like a new culture and a new side of life. So thank you for bringing that to everyone's attention.
Of course, I mean, I think that these cultures are so fascinating. So many horror films are strictly Catholicism kind of inverted in this very dark way. So I wanted to showcase something that was a little closer to heart. And I think really these rituals are so rich and dynamic.
Um, you mentioned a few words multiple times, like roots and sacrifice. And I, my last question for you is like, what do you hope people take away from watching this?
I hope folks watch the movie and say gross, the body horror reaction. But I also hope that, that night or a couple days later, there's a deeper, theme, and there's a heart to the movie when it comes to the sacrifices. I hope folks give their grandma a call and their parents a call and understand what they went through to get us where we are, or how their experiences have impacted our lives negatively, but also positively, whatever it might be. That's really at the core of this, and that we don't live lives that are, estranged or overly shaped by those experiences, but are our own, that we're able to reclaim where we come from.
I love that. Um, Thank you so much for chatting. Again, I love the film, and I'm very excited that I got to talk to you about it.
Thank you so much, Beth, for taking the time to chat. Really appreciate it. And yeah, hope you have a great rest of your day.
You too.